There's this really funny story. I really like this story, and I tell it all the time. One of my best friends on the trip, his name's Dylan, and he became like my best friend throughout the entirety of the 6 weeks. And this is how we met. I flew in, right? And then the next couple of days was like spent kind of like, doing chores and stuff, like trying to, buy a laundry basket, trying to buy, soap, detergent. And then so it was an off day. It was a Sunday or it was a weekend. And, all the friends that I already met or people that I kind of knew about, I was like, hey, what are you guys doing? Like, oh, like we're already busy. We had plans. I'm like, oh, okay. So my plan was I was going to go on like a solo journey. I was going to go on a solo adventure. I was going to go out to, like this mall that I saw on TikTok, and I was going to do it by myself. And I go on the bus and I met all these people that were also part of the program, and they were familiar because I saw them from the airport. And then they were like, oh, like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I recognize you guys. Like, what are you guys doing? They're like, oh, we're going to, the palace, the palace. And then they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm about to go to this mall right now. And they're like, what if you just changed your plan and came with us? I'm like, okay. So like on that bus, like I was supposed to go to the mall, and now I got roped in with all these people to go to this palace. And from that, there was this dude named Dylan in the group, and me and him just hit it off. Like it was just like we were just cracking jokes left and right. It was so funny. And so from there, like the next day, he hit me like, oh, you want to go grab lunch? Lunch turned into like, oh, let's go here, let's go there. And then like, yeah, that was it.
That's such a valuable lesson in there, which is a trait that I've been really focusing on in this last year. And I've picked it up from like religious influences and stuff, but it's the trait of being interruptible. Which basically says like a lot of people, especially people who attend UCSD, especially people who are creators, we get so obsessed with like productivity in our plans and our to-do list that like we give them this like holy importance that we're like, oh, like this is what I've set out to do today. Like I'm supposed to film a podcast today. I'm supposed to study today. I'm supposed to do this. And it's like, I feel like the older and older we get, the less and less we're willing to change our plans. Like as kids, you have no plans. You're just like, whatever anyone invites you to do, you're like, I'm down. I'm down. And then as you get older, you're like, I would be down, but I have to study. And then you're like, I would be down, but I have to study and make a video. You're like, I'll be down in 3 months. And it's like, in that trait of being interruptible, and what the way I define it is that you still have everything you would do. You have your to-do list, you have your tasks, but you're willing to be interrupted. You're willing to say, hey, spending time with people is more important than my work. Going on an adventure is more important. Maybe this person's plans are better than mine. And it's like how you just described, you were willing to be interruptible and go there instead of the mall, and you made a best friend because of it. You had an adventure, you have a story to tell. It's like, how true is that? So much of the time when you're willing to be interrupted, like it leads to great friendships, great memories. But we put this unholy importance on like our to-do list and what we need to do. And so that's a trait that I've been hyper focused on this year, is just being interruptible.
Yeah, it's interesting that you brought that up and like saying like how like, oh, I'll be down in 3 months. Yeah, I had a friend recently, because he's been trying to hang out. He's one of my hometown friends, but I've just been so busy, with college. I live in San Diego, and Oceanside still like 30 minutes. And on top of schoolwork, I'm trying to foster this creative community and trying to like I guess keep the whole base camp vibe continuing. And he said this. He's like because like he would ask me, we're in a group chat. He would ask me like let's hang out. And, everyone in the group chat was like, yeah, I'm down. Oh, yeah, I'm down. Oh, I'll see you guys in 30 minutes. I'll be there in 30 minutes. And then I'm always the one going like, I can't. Like, I have a coding assignment. I have this. And then he goes, dang, bro, like, I always got to make like a 2-month reservation, I got to make a 2-month reservation. I reserve you in 2 months later to hang out. I'm like, oh, man, like, am I really, like, have I been very, like, I guess absent? Have I been very, like, so focused on the grind, so focused on the work that I forgot about, like, just being able to spend time with people, So yeah, it's really interesting that you brought that up.
Yeah, that's a really big part of my brand, the soul of the brand, is because a lot of that, and that's been me, like, it's been something I struggle with so much, but it's like, a lot of that comes from destination happiness. Like, you're like, all right, well, I have to do this assignment. What you're saying when you say I have to do this assignment is that you think that something about that assignment is crucial to your future. Either it's going to affect your GPA, and you think that your GPA is going to affect how much you earn, and you think, and you're playing this like butterfly effect with where your future could go.
Right.
And you're like, and maybe it's not an assignment, maybe it's a video. It's like, oh, if I don't get a video out this week, well then I'm not gonna be a big YouTuber in my future. And you make these like, so like you make these predictions about like what you need to do today so that you can have a better life in your future and better emotions. But then it's like you get to your deathbed, and if you ask anyone how they want to be remembered on their deathbed, they say something along with the relationships, how I treated people, how I loved others, how I listened and cared. And it's like all those people that you love in your life, you're constantly telling them you're too busy or that you can't make time. And it's like, and you think you have good intentions because you're like, oh, but I'm going to have a career and then I'm going to bless my friends or I'm going to like do this.
Yeah.
And then it's like, but it's like if you died unexpectedly, which hopefully you wouldn't,
Right.
You wouldn't want to have been like, oh, I would have hung out with you in 2 months or I would have done. And so that's like the whole thing with soul wealth is like, how do we reverse engineer? It's not that, I mean, I'm a podcaster and I'm every week, twice a week, like I'm that same person, but it's like, how do you constantly check with yourself so that you're not, so that when it is your time, people don't go, oh my gosh, William, like I never got to spend any time with him or I never got to, he was so hard to reach or he's so hard to like, you know, it's so important to like constantly ask yourself that question.
So have you figured out the answer yet, or are you still also trying to find it out?
I think so. So it's like the best entrepreneurs create solutions to their own problems. So like even if you look at Creator Camp, it's like, why did Chris, Simon, Max, and Ryan make Creator Camp? It's because they are creators and they were lonely. They're creators and they struggled to find other creators.
Right.
So they created a place where creators could be less lonely and could find other creators, and that's why I think it's been so fruitful. So it's like for me, I was a workaholic, addicted to work, thinking that there was a better future. I was thinking that when I get 1 million subscribers, I will be happy. When I get this much money, I'll be happy. And I realized you're just training yourself to put happiness in the future, and anything that's in the future will not be where you're at. And so I came with soul wealth. It's like changing the way you measure success to relationships and memories. If I can really look at myself and be like, I am successful based on my relationships and memories. How did I treat people today? What memory am I creating? And that's why I would say like this, like let's take this podcast for example.
Right.
I'm gonna upload this, the post button. Let's take the day I'd post this podcast. It doesn't matter if it's a podcast. It could be a YouTube vlog. It could be a music song. It could be a homework assignment. Everyone thinks about the post button and they're waiting till after they hit post to find out if they're successful. So they're like, based on how many views my YouTube video gets, I'll decide if I'm successful. Based on how many streams my song gets, I'll decide if I'm successful. Based on the grade I get on this assignment, I'll decide if I'm successful.
Yeah.
And the whole goal for me is that by the time I hit post, I should know if I'm successful. If we created a relationship, well, that's more important to me than any money I'll make. If this is a memory sitting on this mountain and this beautiful view,
it's crazy.
Then I already won.
Yeah.
And everything that comes after, money, views, that's all a bonus. Yeah,
right.
Sure, I want the podcast to go viral. Sure, I want it to make me money. But it's like reframing your success that like you're not living so much for the future. And it's like, there's like, and it's hard because there's situations where like, you know that you're gonna have to do the discipline thing. You're gonna have to stay in and do the assignment. Right. But more and more and more, I'm trying to choose the people over the work because it's like, I want to be remembered for how I treat people. So why am I living for work? It's like jobs don't love you, people love you. But we live for work and we don't live for people so much of the time. And so it's like just accepting that sometimes there will be time where I choose people over work and that will affect my career, but is it really affecting my success? It only affects your success if you define success in those metrics.
Right.
And that was like a rant, but and I think the important part of this is like a lot of people like they hear me talk about this stuff and they question it and they think that like I have a really good grip, and I hope I do have a really good grip, but the thing is it's not like a one-time thing where it's like, all right, I'm measuring success for relationships and memories and I'm good forever. It's like every single month, every single day, you got to check yourself over and over and over again because it's like a problem that will keep repeating. It's like pride or ego. Like like if you have an ego or pride, as your followers increase, you have to like check yourself. So it's a constant checking yourself. But to me, the thing that has helped the most is those metrics of success. Yeah, so that's, I don't know, that was a lot to lay on you. So if you have any thoughts.
Of course. No, like that's very interesting, and I'm glad you brought that up. It's I guess to build off of that, or like to like kind of branch from that, is like I have been like, obviously, you know, for the past while now, like I've always focused on like the views and the likes, you know, and it started to consume me. It started to be like I stopped loving what I did. I was like, oh my God, okay, all right, this didn't work out. I need to post the next one so I can see if it does better, you know?
Yeah.
Like to make myself feel better, I need to post more, right? And obviously, me wanting to post more means less time away from those that I care about. But this year, and since base camp, I've been trying to refocus and realign myself in a sense where I just want to actually and truly enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, right? So if it means that, you know, I'm editing a video and my friend comes in, hey, you want to go get food? And it's going to be me saying, yeah, let's go get food, and not, oh, I got to edit this video. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to get to where I need to be when I need to be. You know, I'm gonna end up where I need to be. I'm trusting, you know, whatever, you know, greater power there is, or, you know, the universe, or, you know, I trust that I'm gonna eventually get to where I need to be. It's just, you know, like I guess the success or the views or whatever, like it's not yet my time is what I keep saying. Not yet my time, but it will be soon, you know. So I'm gonna trust that, you know, I can keep doing what I love doing, being able to balance between hanging out with my friends, you know, doing schoolwork, creating videos, you know, allowing myself to have breaks and not have to worry about, oh, I gotta post the next time, otherwise, you know, I can't build a community, I can't keep people engaged, and just I guess learning to get, I guess to sum it all in one sentence, like actually just learning to go with the flow.
That quote, enjoy the journey, is one of the most abused and misunderstood quotes ever, because everyone says it. Like the amount of times I talk to YouTubers or creators who are like, enjoy the journey, but then they get a 10 out of 10 ranked video and they're like, it like wrecks their day, or and they throw around the phrase, but it's one thing to know the phrase and understand it, and it's one thing to live it, like, have it in your heart. You said a lot there. There is so much. I know you said one of your inspirations is Kelly Wicasa. So I just did a podcast with his brother, Casey Wicasa.
Oh, okay.
He lives in San Diego.
Yeah.
And he's a physical artist. Well, Casey Wicasa is the middle brother between Kelly, who's his younger brother, and he has, I don't know what his older brother's name is, but his older brother's a pro soccer player.
Yeah.
His younger brother is a YouTuber with millions of views. You know, and he's like decently successful, finding his way in the and I was asking him, like, oh, do you have any like pressure to live up to what your like brothers do? And he was very like awesome in the fact that he's like, me and my brothers support each other. Like, I want my brother to be the best soccer player, my brother to be the best YouTuber, and they want the best for me. But he was like, of course there's a pressure to like live up to what they've done. It's like they're like these great successful people. I want to get on their level. And I was like, that's so interesting, because it just comes back to the definitions of success, where it's like, you think that your brother who plays soccer is more successful than you because you guys both played soccer and he went pro and you don't play anymore. You think that Kelly's more successful than you because you've both made YouTube videos, but his have millions of views and you don't. But it's like, what if your brother who plays soccer, yes he like is pro and he's making more money, but he has such a strict schedule that every day he has to be at practice. He's always traveling for games, and he is actually neglecting time with people, and he's not being able to spend the time with the people he loves. And what if Kelly actually wishes he could go back to the days where he didn't have to pay an editor, that he didn't have to hit a deadline, that he wasn't paying New York rent, where he's like, and this is not me, like, I don't know these things to be true, but it was funny because as I was saying it for him, he's like, dude, you're right. Like, I've seen Kelly deal with anxiety as he's gotten more popular. I've seen Kelly deal with these things as he's gotten more popular. It's like we have this idea that more views and more money means a better life.
Right.
Like, we look so forward to it.
Yeah.
But it's like so many people get there and they're like, dang, I wish I had enjoyed every part. And there's like one quote in The Office where it's like kind of, it's like one of the peak moments of the show where Andy comes out and he says like, I wish we knew we were in the good old days before you left us.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like that quote is like, I really struggled with depression in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And like in the moment, I felt like so many of my days were bleak and unenjoyable. And it's so interesting because when I look back on high school now, even though I know that I was depressed, I remember it. When I look back on high school, it feels like I'm just like, dude, I would do anything to go back to high school. Like, it sounds so fun. Like,
yeah.
And it's like, those are times where I literally was unhappy. But looking back on it, I'm like, dude, high school is so fun. And then looking back on, like, I remember being in lacrosse practice and, like, the coach would make us run laps and he'd be like, dude, there's one day you're going to want to be back here. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I was in college, I was so eager to drop out. Like, I wanted to drop out because I wanted to just start my creative journey. Mm-hmm. And I dropped out, and I think it was the right decision. But, dude, I would do anything to be back in my college.
Yeah.
And what I'm realizing is that it's not that there's one period of time that's going to be the good old days. It's that every period of time is the good old days.
Yeah.
So, like, why are you so eager? It's like, if you feel like you're in school and you can't relate and you want to be a creator, I promise you're going to miss those days.
Yeah.
And you're going to miss the days you were in high school, and you're going to miss the days you're in now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to miss the days when I only had a few hundred views on my podcast. So it's like, that's something too where it's like, just, like, these days, like, you're so eager to be in those days. Dude, these days, you're going to miss these days right now.
Crazy.
Like, and it's like, and think about, like, someone like Kelly McCoss. It's like, if he wanted to come film a podcast on a mountain right now, he'd probably get harassed by people. Or, like, maybe not him, but, like, there's levels. And there's things that you're going to enjoy in every part of the journey. And just remembering that, like, in some way or another, this is the most successful you'll be at one aspect of what you're doing. And maybe it's just the fondness or the newness or the... And that's something to keep in contract. And I saw that you had talked about, like, that imposter syndrome, like feeling unworthy, comparison. And it's like, again, like, I just brought up the example of Casey Wicasa, but it's like when people talk about comparison and feeling unworthy, it again comes from what I call destination happiness, which is that you think that if your numbers looked similar to whoever you're comparing yourself to, you think that if your videos looked similar to whoever you're comparing yourself to, you would be happier or that you would feel more successful. But in reality, if you think that way, you're just setting yourself up to, even if you get there, you're going to find someone else. You're going to find something bigger. You're going to find, it's like, I love to look at Mr. Beast and I think this series is so talented. He's changed YouTube forever, but it's like, this guy is like, I think he just hit 200 million subscribers or something absurd.
That's crazy.
And he still wants more. He's like, I want to get to 1 billion. But it's like,
crazy.
How many people, it's like, you see it on every level, bro. There's billionaires. They still want more. They're buying more companies. They're starting more things. And it's like, I would, like, if there's someone who's like a billionaire and he's constantly desiring more money and more business and more, I really would consider myself wealthier in the soul, because it's like, I really believe that I have everything I need. Like, and I that doesn't mean that, like, I'm against aspirations or there's not more to, like, gain or that I'm not aiming for, but I just think that, like, I'm really, really genuinely happy with where I'm at.
Right.
And everything else is just a bonus. And I don't know, maybe people would hear that and think that, like, well, like, how can you be motivated? But to me, it's just like, it's like even more motivating, because it's just like, there's nothing I have to, like, strive for or live for. It's just like, I just make what I want to make.
Right.
And enjoy the process and the journey.